Hello, good morning, parents. So, today is Grandparents' Day. So, I would love to show my gratitude, offer my gratitude to all the wonderful grandparents out there. Grandparents, as you know, are the best teachers in the world. So, what are those three to five things that we can learn from grandparents? Grandparents basically are like they give unconditional love. That is what differentiates our expectations versus empathy. The first thing, of course, is empathy, which we can get from our grandparents. Our parents, for example, me as a parent, I get very hassled, I get very irritated, I get very stressed out, on my sometimes with my daughter because my expectations are huge. I want her to be best in this, I want to be good at that, I want to be disciplined, I want her to be everything. So there are a lot of expectations, and therefore there is a little sometimes stress in relationship because what she may feel sensitive about I may not feel sensitive about, and that is where these grandparents of ours come in. They're the best negotiators in the world, and they love their grandchildren unconditionally. They may have been strict with us as parents, but with grandchildren it's a total different ballgame altogether. So if a child is sensitive and a child is coming from school and has a complaint which a mother is not listening to, a grandmother will patiently listen. She will not only listen, the advice which she gives in softly, casually, is even understood by the child and is even absorbed by the child. So, a grand from grandparents, we learn values. No one can tell us stories as well as our grandparents. And of course, they have huge amount of patience to repeat the same stories again and again and again. I remember when I used to go to native place, me at Tambram, so I used to go to native place and during my school times, and it was a simple lifestyle. So every night we didn't have much choice, but maybe a curd rice with some pickles. Alone, the curd rice with pickles, which was not a good idea. But our grandmother used to ask all five to six grandchildren of us to sit around her. She used to sit on the ground and she used to have a full big vessel of dahi rice. And she used to make balls and give us in turn, each one in turn. And she used to have weave in such wonderful stories. And the stories were itself were so captivating that we didn't even understand what we are eating and how much we are eating. And it used to open a world of imagination. We were so engrossed in the whole process. So grandparents definitely add a lot of values. They definitely have a lot. They also inspire us for ideas and imagination. And of course, discipline. Yeah. Discipline is something which a grandparent can achieve or, help a child get into much easier than a parent. Because I remember when I was small and I had this thing of getting up in the morning at 5 and studying, but that used to never come. Because if my mom woke me up at 5, then I used to say, Mama, 5 minutes more, 5 minutes more, 5 minutes more. It used to never happen. But if my grandpa woke me at 5, all he used to do is just pull my bed sheet off. But the fact that he's old and I can't, there was a certain amount of respect. So if my grandpa or my grandma woke me up, I got up. So definitely, yes, discipline is another thing which grandparents can bring to the table. And they have a lot of patience, I must say. So they can hear the child out, they can they can give advice. And above all, there's a lot of things to learn from our grandparents. From my grandparent, I learned perseverance. My grandfather used to get up at 4 in the morning and read the newspaper for approximately 3 to 4 hours. That sort of discipline, you know, is something to look up to. And then he will pray for 2.5 hours. So what happens is then you learn that these are some of the habits which you want to also imbibe because you loved your grandparents. And of course, they had a lot of practical knowledge. I have seen my grandma in the garden, in the backyard. She will say, this plant is this plant is that," and they had so much of knowledge, which sometimes we feel that we have lost. She used to also know, there used to be, because we were in the village, there used to be a lot of snakes around the place. So she used to know, she used to just pick them and throw them aside, saying, "This is good one, this is a little bad one." So we knew the types of snakes then. So there was so much of learning and practical knowledge down there for us to gain from. So I have gained a lot, and I'm thankful and gratitude to having such wonderful grandparents. And on this grandparent day, I offer my gratitude. I'm sure each one of you have a lot of learnings to share, a lot of stories to share on Grandparents' Day. So do write in the comment box so that we can make a lot of difference to our children's lives. Happy Grandparents' Day.